The Python library Matplotlib is probably the Python's most popular library for data visualization. Matplotlib is a very flexible tool, allowing users to create and customize an impressive variety of plot types. The best way to appreciate what you can achieve with Matplotlib is going through the gallery of examples reported in the website of the library. Another Python library. The Bokeh library complements Matplotlib by offering some capabilities for interactive data visualization. Similar to install the NumPy library in the previous session, when import the library, we have the same error message, no module named Matplotlib. So we need to install the library into the virtual environment through Anaconda Navigator. Look at the cell more carefully. We import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. This means we are not importing the whole library. We just need a specific module within the library. Usually it helps us to save time and space to load the library. More often, these kinds of advanced libraries are quite large, so it is good to use the part that you want to use in particular tasks. The code in the cell below %matplotlib inline has a purpose. You may Google it to understand the purpose. Anyway, it is useful to use Google to search anything or any part of code that you do not understand during your Python projects. There are many different ways to write Python program by different developers, so always check some strange writings. In Google is a good idea. Now let us move to Anaconda Navigator to install the library into the virtual environment, as we mentioned when we installing the NumPy library in the previous session. As you can see, the number of packages or libraries in the virtual environment Python Basics is increased to 163. More and more packages will be installed later on when we do machine learning and natural language processing. This is why we need to create this separated virtual environment, instead of using the base root environment that controls the whole computer. We do not want to mess with the whole system. Also, when we completed this module and move on to other Python studies or projects, we can just delete the whole virtual environment, so the computer will delete all of these installed packages in one step and help us to clean up the machine without affecting the base root environment of the system. Now minimize the window of Anaconda Navigator but do not close it, since we are still using the Jupyter Notebook application. We can rerun the cell number 88 to import the Matplotlib module. The error message is gone now. We can also rerun the import NumPy library since we still need some functions in NumPy to help us clean and arrange data results. Since we installed the NumPy library into the virtual environment, so we do not need to go back to the Anaconda Navigator again, no error to import NumPy. These tables in the cells explain the basics of Matplotlib. You can pause the video and read them one by one. You do not need to remember them at this stage. You can always Google them or read online documentations when you need to use them in your future Python projects. We will show a few examples below, but take your time to write these codes in your own machine so you can understand the basic more clearly and easily. The first example is quite simple. We just use Matplotlib to create a simple figure. In cell 92, Read the comments in the cell one by one and write down the codes, then run the whole cell. The best way to understand these lines of codes is to write down all of them, then change one line and another to see the difference in the figure or the error message after you change some codes. Unlike the Microsoft Excel or Words, when you generate some results and want to create a figure, you select one of figures that Microsoft created for you, such as bar chart, line plot, box plot, etc. You can have a lot of freedom to make figures in the Python, as long as you know how to write the Python code, so the machine knows what you want. In this first example, the first line is to tell the machine you want to create a figure with a specific size 6 times 4. We use plot figure, which is the short name for the Matplotlib module. Within the plot module, there is a figure function helps us to manage the figure size. If you change the number 6 and 4 with different number, the size of figure below will be changed. The second line is to tell the machine that we only need one plot. Then we use NumPy library to generate two lists of values. X is integers from 1 to 10, and y is the square of each x value. Then we ask the machine to plot both x and y in the same plot and show it immediately below. These tables list some common codes that help users to refine the figure, such as change the colors in the figure, the line style, the size of line, and so on. Look at the second example. It is just an extension from the first one. We add more colors and line styles, as well as adding labels and title. We also saved this figure as a PDF file in the folder where we saved this notebook. So if you write these codes in your own machine, after you run this cell, you will find a PDF file in your folder named as a first plot PDF. In this third example, we changed the figure size. We tightened the layout of the plot further and saved it as another PDF named as Tight Layout PDF. We can add any kind of annotation on the figure, so this gives us a lot of freedom to present our idea and comments. Read these lines of codes carefully and write down into your own machine carefully. We combine two lines into one figure and make them in different colors and styles. We can also separate them into two figures with different positions. We can create many different types of plots, such as histogram, scatter plot, box plot, and so on. There are many, many more examples online in the Matplotlib website. You can find some figures that you like to use and download the Python codes directly from their websites, then modify the codes in order to be more relevant to your own projects. The Bokeh library is also very powerful. Check these web links to see many interesting examples online. Bokeh library make users to create interactive web-based figures, so the users can play with these plots directly and see data more clearly. This is powerful for visualizing data. Usually, these libraries provide many tutorials and notebooks for users to learn and use their existing examples. Maybe this page is out of date, but you can Google similar tutorials if you want to learn more about these powerful data visualization tools and libraries. Anyway, that's all for this session. See you in next session.